I know you're out there. I can feel you now. I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin.
This is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. It's much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads, by a lot. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential.
I try to convince people to slow down AI, to regulate AI. This was futile.
It scares the hell out of me.
Robots are now joining the People's Liberation Army. Their induction is a prelude to something more sinister. For now, a soldier will operate these robots. But in the future, China wants weapons with a mind of their own. The PLA wants weapons with artificial intelligence.
I see very weird things happening in Australia right now. And so, for example, and I hope I've got this right, but the police there are using an app that works on your cell phone, which so conveniently happens to know where you are, which perhaps turns out to not be such a good thing. And maybe you have to send the police a photograph of yourself with something in the background that proves you are in fact right there. It's like, okay, are you so sure that that app isn't more dangerous than the virus?
Right.
You know, because it's not obvious. Like you look at an app, like you look at this technology is stunningly, overwhelmingly, cataclysmically powerful.
Right.
And you think, well, it's just an app. This is quite something that you have to that the technology is already there to establish a system that makes it the case that you have to take a photograph of yourself and send it to the police so they know where you are so that you can go and do your business. Are you sure that's not more dangerous than the virus? Worse than that. Are you so sure that establishing the precedent that enables a machine to find someone and elicit the force of the state is a good precedent?
Right.
Because remember, these things are getting twice as smart every year or so. It's like, where exactly do we want them to go? As a scientist, you're 100% certain that the imposition of your policy is only going to produce the results you intended and nothing else. None of that's science.
Right.
A scientist with any sense would never ever make a claim like that, having learned through painful laboratory experience that everything will go wrong with your stupid theory that you can possibly imagine, and then a whole bunch more too. Moving from what the situation is to what we should do about it to bring a given future into being That's an unbelievably difficult proposition.
Now, the social media platform's latest move has sparked a massive storm. The Twitter account of leading US virologist Dr. Robert Malone has been banned. Now, Dr. Robert Malone is the inventor of the mRNA technology, which has been used to vaccinate millions of people. But shockingly, Twitter has suspended this same scientist for spreading alleged misinformation on COVID vaccines.
You know, the science is settled. It's like, yeah, why are you telling me that? Like, why is it so important for you that I believe that? Oh, well, it's because I need to do these things. It's like, yeah, that's exactly why.
Right.
Because the science just sits there as a set of facts, a set, in some sense, if it's properly done, as a set of disembodied facts. It's
Right.
like, well, what do we do about that? Well, that's a different question. How do we decide what to do about it? That's a different question too. Those aren't scientific questions as far as I can tell.
Now, Dr. Malone had over 500,000 followers on Twitter. He was removed after he shared a video about supposed harmful effects of the Pfizer jab. In a tweet, Dr. Malone has noted that Pfizer's 6-month data showed that its COVID vaccine caused more illness than it prevents.
As you can see, we've had our eye on you for some time now, Mr. Anderson. It seems that you've been living 2 lives. In one life, you're Thomas A. Anderson, program writer for a respectable software company. You have a social security number, you pay your taxes, and you help your landlady carry out her garbage. We're willing to wipe the slate clean, give you a fresh start. All that we're asking in return is your cooperation.
It seems as though we've really just blurred that line in COVID with the objective and that whole subjective or in science yet to be determined, and we've altered everyone's lives because of it. And that's not to say that it's not a pandemic and that it's not a virus that is particularly lethal to certain groups of people. But it seems like a lot right now, especially in big tech, asking the why we've done what we've done and if this is the correct course forward is really scary, and a lot of people are afraid to speak out. This is something you and I haven't had a chance to talk about because I haven't spoken in a while. The world has changed dramatically. Has it changed your view of where the world is going fundamentally than when we last spoke maybe 1.5 years, 2 years ago?
He also pointed out the flaws in Pfizer's trial, both in design and execution. In a video, he explained the harms feared to be coming from the Pfizer mRNA vaccine for COVID-19. Twitter so far has not commented on the move.
Well, I have been shocked to see how fragile our civil liberties have turned out to be across the West. I mean, China put the first lockdowns into place.
Yeah.
And we mimicked the actions of a totalitarian state instantly. Now, we didn't know what to do exactly in some sense, so it's a complicated problem. We didn't know the magnitude of the problem, and it's hard to criticize people in some sense for jumping to conclusions prematurely.
Right.
But it's a long while later, and the danger of using danger as an excuse for social control is making itself more and more manifest.
Despite being involved with the development of the mRNA technology, Dr. Malone has become an outspoken critic of mass vaccination.
Both the Pfizer and Moderna jabs are built on mRNA technology, which uses genetic engineering to create antibodies. Dr. Malone, however, says that there is not enough testing in place to warrant mass vaccination.
Our government is out of control on this, and they are lawless. They completely disregard bioethics. They completely disregard the federal common rule. They have broken all the rules that I know of, that I've been trained on for years and years and years. These mandates of an experimental vaccine are explicitly illegal. They are explicitly inconsistent with the Nuremberg Code. They're explicitly inconsistent with the Belmont Report. They are flat out illegal, and they don't care.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of shaped explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people, people do. Well, people don't. They get emotional, disobey orders, aim high. Let's watch the weapons make the decisions. Now trust me, these were all bad guys. Now that is an airstrike of surgical precision. It's one of a range of products. Trained as a team, they can penetrate buildings, cars, trains, evade people, bullets, pretty much any countermeasure. They cannot be stopped. Now, I said this was big. Why? Because we are thinking big. Watch. A $25 million order now buys this. Enough to kill half a city, the bad half. When you can find your enemy using data, even by a hashtag, you can target an evil ideology right where it starts.